kids using the classroom. I'm going to use some of those pictures. How'd it go?
It went good. I mean, they did a lot better than I thought they would. I think I hover over them too much, and once I let go and let them work, they're okay.
So they were able to get in and
log in with Clever and get into Google Classroom and go straight to the assignments. So yes.
Did they have trouble with the assignments, or they felt okay?
I think because of it being new, that some of them struggled with it. It was one of them that you saw was the constructive response. Like we would type, how do you solve a multiplication, and for them, they can solve it, but to type it in words, I think it was more that type thing than the actual.
It would have been challenging on paper too,
right?
For them to explain how to do it. Okay. To review our goal, it said students will be able to produce their own work around the skill in math. Have you gotten to that point that they're producing their own work yet, or?
Yes.
Okay,
because
awesome.
One of the assignments were they had to give me a 3x2 multiplication, and they had to come up with their own problem.
So they wrote their own problem?
Yes, they wrote their own problem. They solved it, and then they were to tell me which way they wanted to solve it. Because we do partial products, we do area model, we do standard algorithm. So basically, they came up with it, told me how they wanted to solve it, and then on paper, because they're not used to drawing boxes and all, so they would work it on paper and then explain it back on the assignment.
That's awesome. So you did both. It was a blended learning. You did some paper and some online.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So I know you've looked at some of your data towards the goal. So do you feel like your students are meeting the goal?
I would say probably 80% are.
Awesome.
You still got a few that are going to struggle, but I think when we work with it more and they become more familiar with it, and the more we do with it, they'll be able to understand it better.
Okay. Are you still just using it in math? Or
no, we've actually gone into ELA.
Okay.
And one of that they really like is their spelling choice boards, and they have 9 boxes that they can pick 3 to make tic-tac-toe, and they can do it in Google Docs or on paper. So
awesome. So you feel like 80% of students. That's really good.
So I think they're doing good.
All right, well, I want us to review the checklist that we did last time, make sure you still are okay with it. So you've got a copy and I've got a copy, but you know how to set up your classroom?
Yes,
you've done that, you've used it. The students know how to access, and do they have any trouble submitting?
No.
Good.
We walked through that first couple of times. I did like a sample assignment, so they could just type a sentence and then submit it before they did the actual. Yes.
Okay. So you answered that question. They know how to add an assignment, and you just did a Google form was your first assignment?
Yes.
Okay. The students know how to submit it. Have you created a formal quiz yet? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
They will take that. They haven't yet, but they will in a few weeks, hopefully.
So the students will be able to do that. Have you looked at any data yet as far as their submission time? Did they all submit?
I've looked at the assignments they've turned in. I looked at it a couple different ways. What they made on it and how they actually were able to submit it in time, and looking at did they do it the way I wanted it. So it's kind of, I was just looking at different things as I was looking at the assignments. So yes, but I have pulled some data.
Okay. All right, just have a few questions. I'm going to ask you to see how things are going and what else I can help you with, okay? What's the most important thing you'd want us to talk about, or maybe a question? What's on your mind today?
I think I want to, see about other things than just a Google Doc or a Google slide,
So more higher order thinking.
Yes. I mean, maybe there's something else I can add into an assignment other than just the docs or a test. I mean, we've done a few Google slides, but that may be somewhere I want to go. Let them create their own in other subjects.
More creative. Okay. What do you think has gone well?
I just think their independence. I mean, being able to do things on their own, that I can give them an assignment, they can work on it and submit it. And I like the fact when I just tell them, okay, give me a 4x2, or that they're able to create their own. It's not something that everybody has the same problem.
That's really good, especially for the gifted group. It's
Yes.
more of a challenge than the same
That
thing.
higher order thinking.
Okay. What surprised you when using Google Classroom?
I think just some of the kids, I had higher expectations, and I didn't realize that some of these kids may not have internet at home. They've never
Okay.
worked with Google Docs, and I was hoping they all would. And what surprised me was some of just the basic typing skills too with a Google Doc. They had no clue of like changing the font, doing those things. And so that kind of surprised me with this group. Just kind of the basics was overlooked.
So maybe we could look at some foundation skills.
Yes, and
Okay.
even in computer, maybe we could
Right.
transfer it to Darla and say, work with them on a Google Doc or something. I'm not
And
sure.
I know in Clever we've pushed out a few keyboarding apps that may be something they could do just to learn how to use the keyboard. That'll help in the milestones too.
Yes.
Have you ran any roadblocks, any problems?
Well, one day I had to text you.
Yes.
I had several that it was just like spots that the Chromebooks were not working. It was this one or it was that one, and then the one day I sent you a picture of the screen that was completely
Right.
white. So it just kind of those type more
Right.
with the technology, the Chromebook part.
So it's a Wi-Fi issue.
Yes.
Okay. And we are working on that. That was approved last week. So hopefully we're gonna get those updated. But that's you have to have a backup plan because the
Right.
Wi-Fi can go down. Okay. Do you want to keep using Google Classroom?
I do. Yes.
Do you like it on your end too?
I do. I really do. I mean, one time, I want to get all my tests in Google Forms, their assignments. The only thing is, with me going back to school also, the time for me to sit down and do it, but once
Right.
it's done, I have it for years to come.
That's right.
So that's one challenge I have, but I do want to use it more, and hopefully I can.
Is there anything you want to change with your goal, or maybe how you're measuring that goal, or maybe you want to add to it?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I still think they need to be able to produce their own work, and that's what I want to work towards,
Right.
is maybe venturing out in each subject that I teach, that they have one a 9 weeks or one every few weeks,
Right.
especially like science, social studies, give them a bigger project that they have to create in Google Classroom.
And we could do that project-based learning in Google Classroom. We could do some Google Slides and videos, and there's a lot to offer with those Chromebooks. We'll do that.
Sounds good.
So next steps. Even though this is the last coaching session, I still want to help you and continue to do this. So, when would you like to meet again, or do you want me to visit when you're doing something?
Let's say maybe after Christmas, because I know
Okay.
those 3 weeks are going to be crazy. But
Yes,
when-
they will.
When school starts back,
Okay.
and that'll be the beginning of a new 9 weeks. So
Okay.
maybe we can sit down and come up with some project-based learning for
Okay.
a couple of subjects then.
That'd be
Sounds
great.
good.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how committed are you to keep going with this?
A 5.
A 5.
Yes.
That's awesome. So even though you've had a few roadblocks with the
Right.
Wi-Fi and the time to do it, you think it's worth it?
I do. These kids are doing really well.
Okay,
I think
awesome.
it'll benefit them, just
Great.
on milestones, and even next year, because I know I work with the 5th grade teachers a lot, trying to do some vertical planning, and I try to do some things with mine that will help them next year. So that's one of the things is the Google
That's
Classroom.
good. I know ELA in 5th grade is using Google Classroom,
Yes.
so this will help them transition
Yes.
right into
And
that
maybe if I
learning.
can get it going in math, then I can teach the 5th grade math teacher, and we can just get it going there. So.
And you'll have it for this year, so that'll be great.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're
And I
welcome.
look
I've
forward
enjoyed
to
it.
working with you.
Yes.